Hello everybody, and welcome to Delves In. I'm Delv, this is Boodrix, the lovely groundskeeper.
Boodrix.
Catt is still downstairs. We checked on the swelling. It's gone down slightly, but it is beginning to turn purple, so we don't have health insurance, so I just we do have codeine though, so I just gave her a bunch of codeine.
I gave her some fentanyl for my stash.
Okay, yeah. So she's all right.
Fun fact: Bug back alive again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got
still
it
in the jar, right?
I put the jar in a jar.
Double jarred?
Yeah, didn't. You can never be too careful.
No,
with
good. I'm glad, because I thought you were about to say I lost it, and then I would have to quarantine the whole fucking hotel.
Yeah, no, I didn't lose it. I put jar to jar. Now it's spitting black goo. Still glows. Now it went from blue to purple. Don't know what it means, but it's a great nightlight.
Interesting.
I named him Frank.
You know what? Next time the power flashes, though, if it's still glowing, we can probably stick him in the basement, so like next to the breaker.
I figured out how to make him glow on command.
Does it speak English?
I shake the jar.
Oh, okay. It's not really on command, though. That's just shaking the jar.
I go, glow.
It actually understands perfect Latin. It's weird. When we say incandescent in Latin, it glows so bright. Brighter than 1,000 suns.
I have to speak English backwards, but it gets it.
All right, well. Anyway, in this episode, we will be continuing to read Reddit stories because I want to. Fuck you. Our first story, TIFU, from Celine JX.
Today, I fucked up by moaning my roommate's name during sex with my boyfriend. Holy shit, we're coming in with a heater.
Now, before we go into this, you have to break up with him. I don't think there is any recovering.
Fuck no.
You moaned your roommate's name during sex with your boyfriend?
That is an immediate boner killer for starters.
He's either about to break up with you or you should break up with him. That's hard to come back from.
That is, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but damn, that is a hard fucking hill to climb.
The absolute only way I could ever see this somewhat working out is if they have names that are super close.
Yeah.
Like if he goes by like Ronnie and he goes by like Robbie and you just fucked it up,
yeah,
I could understand that. But if your boyfriend's name is Jeff and you were like, oh, Kevin,
it's like, that's a 𝚜𝚕𝚘𝚠𝚎𝚟𝚎𝚛 fucko-boingo, and that's gonna take a lot of work to fix, and it might not ever be fixed.
That's a super ultra mega fuck up.
Yeah.
So, well,
let's get into it.
So this happened a few months ago before we got our own place, but I'm still haunted by it.
Hold on, time out.
They're still together.
They're still together. It's our own place, not my own place. So
they're moving in together.
So they're moving in. They got past it somehow.
God, I don't know if I could have. My boyfriend and I were in the middle of sex. Everything was normal. We were both having a good time. Then, out of nowhere, I moaned my roommate's name. I don't even know why. It wasn't intentional. I'm not secretly in love with him, and I wasn't even thinking about him. It just slipped out, like my brain completely short-circuited in the heat of the moment the second it left my mouth. I froze in shock. My boyfriend didn't say anything at the time. He didn't stop or react in a way that showed he definitely noticed, but afterwards he was a little quiet, and I can't help but wonder if he just ignored it or decided not to bring it up. Now I can't stop overthinking every interaction. To make things worse, every time I saw my roommate in the kitchen, I flashed back to that moment and felt embarrassed all over again. I don't know if my boyfriend remembers and just doesn't want to talk about it, or if he genuinely didn't hear me clearly. Either way, it's one of those mistakes I'll never live down in my own head. TLDR, moaned my roommate's name by accident during sex with my boyfriend. He didn't react, but now I'm terrified he heard and is just pretending not to know. Top comment. Wouldn't be surprised if he is contemplating an exit plan. I mean, how would you feel if the roles were reversed? OP responded, someone responded, months planning an exit plan and never touching on it, and then OP responded, this, haha.
Ooh, somebody said, the collector said, that's a potential relationship ender. I would bring it up. Personally, it's extremely unlikely he didn't hear you, especially if he's acting strange. OP responded, but why? Shouldn't discuss it on...
I think she meant to say first.
On first and go through it either?
Yeah.
Or together?
This is my favorite comment from FLTDI. Your boyfriend knows you fucked your roommate. Celine says, lol, I haven't and I wouldn't. Not my type. That's funny.
And somebody responded to that, said, that's a cruel thing to say. It really doesn't mean that.
Cheese manipulator. Good thing your roommate's name isn't your dad's name, too. Yikes.
Oof.
Here's the thing. First of all, good man if he's planning to move on and he's just super understanding and he's like, I trust her, I love her, I know there's nothing, that was an accident. Probably still feels awkward for him, but he seems chill about it, like, okay, she fucked up. I don't know if I could have done that. And I'll say this, and we were discussing this in either the last episode, or the last recording rather, or the recording before that. I find it really weird when women have male roommates, because it always causes problems. There's always, if you are dating somebody else and you have a roommate of the gender that you're attracted to, it always causes problem. There's either sexual tension, jealousy, or dumb shit like this happens. It's always a bad idea.
Yeah.
Good God.
I mean, I get it, and sometimes it's just unavoidable. Like, you have to have a roommate, and you just so happen to have, you know, gendered mixed. But yeah, there are problems, and honestly, good on the dude. I think I don't know if I would immediately break up, but I would have to have that conversation. I couldn't be silent. I'd have to be like, all right, I need reassurance to know that it was an accident and that there is nothing there, because if I can't get that reassurance, then that trust is gone.
Yeah. That's just such, and I get that it's complete. I got a lot of people saying bot account or AI story,
Yeah.
which may be true, but we're taking it as if it's real, like everything on the internet. You have to assume that there's some honesty.
Yeah.
Oh, Clancy, why in the fuck are you talking to us about this instead of your boyfriend? You said he's been acting weird. Like, own your shit and fucking talk to him. What in the world? I kind of agree.
I fully agree.
Because, like, the longer you don't talk to him about it, the more awkward it's going to be when it comes up again.
Exactly.
Like, you got to nip that in the bud pretty quick.
Like a lot of things in relationships, and the reason communication is so important, the longer things go unsaid, the more it builds. It's a ticking time bomb, and if you don't discuss it and put that bomb out, it's going to blow up.
Bigger
into
the
something
explosion.
Much bigger. And so, sure, it may be an explosion now, but it's a much less explosion than later when you let it build.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I'd probably just cry and get ED. All right.
I think my bully would knock on the door, and then
Yeah, I have to hide my dick under a pillow, and then it would stop working.
yeah.
All right, next story. Now, Boodrix once again introduced me to another lovely subreddit here. Today, we are dipping our toes into pro-revenge. Pro-revenge. This comes from broad_ADZ.
This could be good.
Cheat on your wife with mine? I will burn your life to the ground.
And I, going off of the title alone, fully endorse that sentiment.
I think I know where this is going, but nonetheless, we're gonna get into it.
Indeed.
Way back in the early 2000s, I began to suspect that my wife was up to something. Our two kids were about 4 and 6, still young, but not so young they couldn't tell you something about what had happened in their day. They started talking a lot about staying with my wife's parents during the day, which wasn't really that strange in and of itself, but since they lived about 90 minutes away, doing so 2 or 3 times a week seemed a bit much. That was basically every day she wasn't working at her part-time job.
Oof.
Dude,
that's a lot of This is something I never get about cheaters. You go through so much fucking effort for this shit, especially when you have kids. Which, granted, never been in a relationship, which means I've also never cheated on somebody.
or been cheated on.
So I don't know, but like at least I can understand like the quote crime of opportunities, where it's just like,
Yeah.
I was at a party, this chick was hitting on me, and then we banged. It's like, okay, you know what? I can at least understand that. It was right there. But it's like, long-term affairs, it's like, dude, you're taking your kids 90 minutes to go be with your parents
Just
so
to get
you
some
can
dick?
cheat on your husband, and then you drive 90 minutes back out there to bring them home. That is 180 minutes. Which I'm too stupid to do the math to figure out the hours for, but over 2 hours of just driving the kids.
90 minutes is 3 hours round trip.
Yeah. So that's 3 hours in a day just so you can cheat on your husband.
Yeah.
That is so much work.
I do love when like kids like they don't understand what they're saying, and so like they accidentally tattle on other people. I think that's so funny.
It is very funny.
When I asked her about it, she denied it, but was never a good liar. So I started tracking the mileage on her car, and sure enough, she was driving an extra 400 or so miles per week.
It is a 90-minute drive.
God, I knew some shit was going on. Then one day, I sat down at the computer, and she had left a sticky note with her AOL password written on it next to the keyboard. I could not resist and logged in to read her emails and saw a few email exchanges between her and her college BFF. Excuse me. Where they discussed how my wife was regularly fucking one of her ex-boyfriends from high school. Not to mention no mentions of details about him other than my wife also talking shit about his wife, making fun of how she'd gotten fat after having kids. Anyway, I printed out these email exchanges and stashed them.
Very smart.
Genius.
Here's another tip for anybody going through a divorce. Receipts, receipts, receipts.
Hard evidence.
You never want to explode, because that's how they get you in court.
That's why it's pro revenge and not amateur revenge.
Exactly.
Because he played it low key.
You have to play the long game, because as soon as they know, then it's just who does it first.
Dude.
But if you can start a paper trail and you can get shit rolling first,
Get to the lawyer first, yeah.
you're in the lead.
This gets interesting.
Yep.
I still needed to know the details, so I called a friend who was a cop, and he suggested I call a guy he knew that had left the force to become a PI. Ron was great. I paid his retainer and gave him all the emails and what little I knew about my wife's activities, and he figured out exactly what she was doing. His report detailed with photos and dates, times, locations, all about how she would take the kids to her parents, then go meet this guy for lunch, then they'd go to a dumpy motel for a few hours, after which she'd pick up the kids and return home. At this point, I hired a divorce lawyer. My parents cheated on each other, and the fallout absolutely fucked mine and my siblings' childhood. It was something that was totally unacceptable. I also asked Ron to find out what he could about this guy. Ron absolutely came through. I learned his name, Bob, and he was married and had 3 kids. I also found out that he worked as a VP of sales for his father-in-law's business.
Oh, shit. Now I see where the fucking I will burn your life down.
At this point, I had my lawyer draw up the divorce papers. I also asked Ron for a couple more copies of his report and one more thing I wanted him to do for me. On the same day I had my wife served with the divorce papers at her work, I had Ron meet with this guy's wife and show her everything he'd found out. She seemed nice, and I figured that she deserved to know what her dear hubby was up to. What she did with all that information was up to her. While the information about my wife's infidelity didn't really matter in my divorce proceedings, Bob's wife did a real number on him. According to the publicly available court documents from the divorce and other related proceedings, she cleaned out their joint account, took the kids, and left. As soon as her dad found out what he had done, Bob was fired, and since her parents actually owned the house where Bob and his wife lived, he also got evicted. Their divorce was ugly. Lots of fighting in, and evidently out of, court. I guess Bob went to the house and started arguing with his wife, and it escalated to the point where her brother stepped in and Bob got his nose broken. There were restraining orders, a few more incidents with police reports, criminal charges, jail time, and so on. I can't find Bob on the internet anywhere these days. Last I heard, he'd left the state and his ex-wife did okay. She went to work at her dad's company and took over after he retired. As for me, my ex and I got along well enough. I didn't engage with her on anything that wasn't related to the kids, and now that they're both adults, I don't talk to her at all anymore. I don't hate her or anything, but I only care in the context that she is my kid's mom, and that's important to them, nothing beyond that.
Dude, honestly, shout out to this guy. Because were I him, I would have fought for full custody.
I don't know if I know it would have won that.
I don't know if I would have won that, but just the anger I would have felt that it's like, all right, you're driving our kids 90 minutes multiple times a week and back multiple times a week. That's just unnecessary bullshit you're doing to our children for your affair. I want supervised visits or full custody or something. Fuck you for putting my children through that.
Yeah. Do you want to know where I thought this was going? I thought that he was going to find the wife and then start an affair with the wife and then reveal that to the other dude. Like, hey, by the way, I know you've been fucking my wife. Guess what? I've been fucking your wife. And then hit everybody with divorce papers.
Yeah. Which, honestly, shout out to him. That's one of the greatest things you can do during an affair is if the other person is also in a relationship and also in an affair, just give them the information. Yeah, like he said,
definitely.
Let them do with that information what they will. That's out of your hands.
Yep.
But the truth is important.
Yeah.
You can't make an informed decision without the truth. Give them the truth, and then what they do is on them.
Well, she deserves to know that information just as much as he did. You know,
fully, 100%.
So we've got a comment here, says, well played. This is from KIRJAVS Kerjabs. Well played. Even if I don't know how you can have more anger to the guy than your wife. He responds, the OP responds, I was definitely angry with my wife, and don't get me wrong, I made her suffer throughout the divorce. For example, she wanted to try couples therapy, and I agreed. Not because I thought there was a path to reconciliation, but because it felt good to lay out exactly how I felt about what she'd done, how disgusted, disappointed, and angry I was with her. She always left those appointments in tears and would sit bawling in her car for a while before pulling herself together. Eventually, she realized that it was already over for us and canceled the remaining appointments. I also had to think about what was best for the kids. I wasn't going to bring the chaos I experienced into their lives, where I saw my parents screaming at each other, my dad calling my mom a whore, and worse, and vice versa. It was in their best interest to make things go smoothly. I've never told them the details of what happened between their mom and me, and I probably never will. I don't know what she's told them about it, but I still have Ron's report stashed away in case they need to see the truth. And that's genius, too. Don't let the mom come up with a lie. Also, I wasn't really angry with Bob for my own sake. I was angry with him on behalf of his wife. I felt like she deserved to at least know what was going on, and what she chose to do about it was up to her. Bob's consequences are due to his wife's, and probably her dad's, rage at what he'd done. I just lit the fuse.
Which, that's just fucking, dude is stupid as shit. You're cheating on your wife and you work for your father-in-law? You really didn't think that through, did you, pal?
Dude, that's just kind of like what cheaters are, though, is like, in a lot of cases, at least from what I read on like Reddit, like I noticed some patterns, but like cheaters do two things. One, they're almost entirely like, I don't want to say mooches, but they're like heavily involved or being supported by their spouse. Like either they're really close to the family, they're part of their family's business, they're like really lovey-dovey about their wife, and also they get really paranoid that the other person is cheating.
Just project.
Yeah, exactly, pure projection. So not only are they like casting a lot of stones being paranoid about the other one cheating when they themselves are cheating, but also their entire life is like fully wrapped in with the other person. So you're right. Yeah. It makes no psychological sense to me why you would cheat on the person.
The only thing I can think of is the thrill. Because the risk is so great, it makes the sex that much greater. Yeah. And that is the only thing I can think of that is the reason they would do it. Because nothing else makes sense.
Yeah. I understand, and there's like a movie trope of like couples that like grow apart and then they start cheating on each other. But from like what I read on Reddit, it's almost never that. Like it's usually like the wife is super head over heels for the guy, and the guy is super in love with his wife, but one of the two of them is fucking people on the side. So it's just like they want their cake and they want to eat it too. I don't know. It's weird. It's just something I've noticed. It's a trend I've picked up on.
Yeah, and I don't know.
That's life shattering. It's horrible.
It is life shattering and horrible. But I almost fully believe that once a cheater, always a cheater.
Yeah.
Because it's like, at that point, well, I don't necessarily want to say that like with my whole chest. Like one time it's like, okay, you were stupid and made a mistake. 2 times it's like, all right, man, what the fuck are you doing? And then like if you've cheated on your 3 previous partners, it's like, all right, this is a habit, and you get off on the thrill of cheating on your partner.
I would say I would give him like 2 strikes, because I don't know. I want to agree with you, like once a cheater, always a cheater. But then again, I don't know. The Christian in me does believe that people can change, and that forgiveness is an acceptable not acceptable, but is a possibility.
Yeah.
So maybe if you do cheat on somebody and you're like young and stupid and you learn from that and grow, I do believe that maybe not everyone who cheats once will cheat in every relationship, but also as a hateful, spiteful person, I do also believe like, well, if you were going to do it once, you're probably going to do it again, especially if they get away with it. If they get caught, maybe. But if they like cheat and then they break up naturally and then they get into another relationship, I think that just may reinforce that they can get away with it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm like
it's
80-20.
entirely, I'd argue it's entirely up to the person. Like most things, like if I look at somebody and I can see like they have really done the work to change their life around, and it's like they used to be an alcoholic, but now they don't even drop a drop of alcohol. It's like, you know what? I can believe you're not a cheater anymore because you have eliminated the thing that would always push you into cheating. But if it's like this dude says he's no longer a cheater, and it's like, yeah, but every time you get drunk, you cheat on your wife. Yeah. And you're still drinking, you're going to cheat again because you're still drinking.
Yeah, I don't know. I think in my heart I want to believe that people are capable of change and being better, but I think the cynic in me also understands that probably not. You're probably a fucking piece of shit. Yeah. Like if you would do it once, you'd probably do it again.
Yeah. And let this also be a lesson about like platonic friends. Like if your best friend cheats on his wife, stop being his friend. One, tell the wife because it's just the right thing to do. Yeah. But two, stop being his friend. If he is comfortable enough to cheat on what is supposed to be the other half of himself, his other half of his soul, you are not more important to him than his wife, and he will betray you for whatever reason.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, every guy should like their girlfriends more than like their best friends. That's just how that should be.
Absolutely.
So if he's willing to cheat on his wife with other people, God forbid he thinks that your girlfriend's attractive, because he'll try to fuck them too.
Exactly.
So if not for like the, moral, ethical reason to not be their friend, do it selfishly because they may try to fucking...
They're a snake.
Yeah.
They have proven themselves to be a snake who is selfish and will take what they want regardless of who it hurts. And if you are friends with a snake, they will bite you.
Yep. All right, well,
it was another solid 20-minute video.
Yeah, keeping them nice and short. Gotta go check on Catt, make sure she hasn't keeled over, make sure she's still breathing.
I'm gonna go shake the jar again.
Maybe we should get like what's a bug doctor called? Like a plant doctor is like a botanist. What's an insect doctor? We should find a bug doctor and maybe sell it.
I was trying to think of a joke and couldn't.
Me neither.
I just kept I was like incest, and there was no way to make that funny.
What the fuck? all right, we're done. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching.
Goodbye.
Hopefully there'll be hopefully Catt will be in the next one. Bye.
Bye.